this is the group of Romain Bardet.
What do they do about this rider? Flat out, heading towards 1 kilometre to go. This rider has outwitted the rest of the best riders in the world in the same way that he did in La Vuelta, in the same way that he did in Liège-Bastogne-Liège. Now he's solo, he can just go into mode, go into time trial and go for the rainbow bands. It would end the most incredible season. He trained for La Vuelta in a very specific way. He went to altitude, in the altitude hotel down towards Alicante. He trained hard in the climbs around there, and then he came out and fought through La Vuelta. He only had one bad day in that 3-week Grand Tour. Apart from that, he was the absolute dominant force. The form has been maintained as he turns the corner in towards the finish line. This rider is dominating this World Championship. Remco Evenepoel of Belgium as he heads towards the bell. The Belgian wonder kid is 1 lap from a crowning glory of an incredible season. 1 lap to go. Solo leader Remco Evenepoel.
Well, going through there, getting 1 lap to go, looking extremely focused, looking like he's very much in control of the effort. Staying down in the very aerodynamic position, he powered through the line there. Took a little rest through the corner as he keeps pushing through this section of the race.
He's got 2 really tough little climbs to come at a critical point in the race, as we see Alexei Lutsenko is in all sorts of pain. This rider just couldn't go with the move of Remco Evenepoel. He just could not stay on the wheel, but he's trying to hold on to give Kazakhstan a silver medal. This rider's won the under-23 title before. Evenepoel's won the junior world title. 1 lap to go. Can Lutsenko hold on for silver? Evenepoel takes a bottle. Hardly even comes out of the aero tuck. Gets himself into the right position. 16 kilometres to go.
Well, he looks like he's very much in control, doesn't he? He looks comfortable in that position. He would have got a time check coming through the finish line. He is riding his way towards a victory here in Wollongong. Remco Evenepoel.
2:23 now is the advantage for the Belgian rider. His average speed 42.429 kilometres an hour. Since he went through the last lap, he's increased the average speed by 0.3 of a kilometre an hour. Such is the acceleration that the Belgian has made. Now it's all about the medals. He glances across.
He's asking for another time check. He wants constant time checks.
Maybe he didn't notice what the time check was when he went under the banner there with to take the final lap, because he's tapping on his wrist. He's trying to get a bit of an indication of how much of an advantage he has over the chasers.
Yeah, because he needs to know, doesn't he, for these final 2 climbs, do I have to go flat out? Do I measure my effort, Simon? You know, at the end of a World Championship road race, there's a fine line between blowing up and going all the way to the line.
He's working hard there. You can see him in and out of the saddle, trying to give his muscles a bit of a rest. Taking a bit of a rest whenever he can.
Now we see the move behind, and this is the peloton, which is all together, and no one has been able to make any moves. It's been a really unusual race. I have to say, what a strange race this has been.
And it looks as though the peloton have given up on this chase. They realise that Remco Evenepoel has too much of an advantage to catch in the final lap.
1 lap of racing to go. The peloton make their way across the line. 15 kilometres of racing. 2 climbs for the Belgian rider. 2:29. And I think after this, a lot of teams will be sitting down and wondering, why did we let this happen? How did we let this happen?
Well, in the moment, obviously, there's been so much talk about Wout van Aert, and maybe they thought, okay, yes, they're putting their riders in the breakaways and in all of the moves, but with so many classic style riders and favourites back in the peloton, just relying on each other, and Belgium have just raced superbly, and having 2 big favourites, and maybe even 3 big favourites, makes a big difference, opposed to a country like Australia where it's all in for one in Michael Matthews. If you've got cards to play, you're in a stronger position.
Simon, are you surprised this is the way this has played out? Here comes the team director of Belgium.
We can see here Remco Evenepoel finally getting an update from his team director. He's been told what the advantage is, and you can see that Remco Evenepoel is not taking any risks through the corners. He's actually taking the opportunity when he goes to the corners to recover just for a microsecond there before he increases the speed again. This scenario has come of a surprise because the big favourites, they shouldn't have let a rider like Remco Evenepoel get any kind of advantage. But Remco Evenepoel, he forced his way off the front. He was the rider to accelerate going up Mount Pleasant, and he jumped away with that big move, catching the big leaders by surprise.
And there's likely to be a few of those big favourites cross the line and feel like they haven't used everything they had in the tank, and just a miscalculation and a misjudgment from a lot of the nations that have favourites in this race. But Belgium have risen to the occasion. As you said, their last winner, Philippe Gilbert in Valkenburg.
But I wonder also whether, Simon, if we go back to 233 kilometres to go, which is 220 kilometres ago, I wonder how much that big move of France shook the other nations, that actually made them ride a bit more negatively because it was such a big acceleration, and therefore they were thinking the move's going to come, and it never has.
Well, it did come, but it came earlier than what they were expecting. I think, if anything, that big move from the team of France going up Mount Kira, it should have made all the big leaders of the teams even more aware of what could happen early on in this race.
Here's the third group on the road. So it's Remco Evenepoel at 12.9 kilometres to go. Alexei Lutsenko, second on the road at 46 seconds. He's trying to hold on for silver. Behind him, Pascal Inkorn, Matthias Jensen, Lorenzo Rota and Mauro Schmidt. Then the group behind is Bardet, Hermans, Tratnik, Chullet, Hindley, Conchi, Tiller, Paulus Genier. And then the peloton is still a minute behind the group containing the Australian Giro d'Italia winner, Jai Hindley. I wonder whether the groups behind Remco Evenepoel are going to merge on one of these climbs, and then you're going to see a group of around about 13 or 14 riders fighting it out for silver and bronze.
Once again, here we can see Remco Evenepoel, he's backing off into the corner, taking no risk and using the corners to recover. Alexei Lutsenko, second rider on the road, he is working extremely hard. He's going to find these next two climbs a big task.
He is. You can see every single pedal stroke is being thought about as he makes his way towards the climb, hoping to hold on to give Kazakhstan the silver medal in this World Championships.
And he has 19-second advantage over these riders, and you can see he's looking behind him as he is riding towards the finish, because he knows that he hasn't got much left in the legs, and the climb he could be swamped by those riders chasing. But all is looking very promising for Remco Evenepoel. He's in a very strong position to take this title.
This is the silver medalist at the moment, Alexei Lutsenko. It's proving to be an interesting run into the finish for the groups behind. Remco Evenepoel, Liège-Bastogne-Liège, he went solo. He soloed about the last 15, 16 kilometres into the race finish when he won that earlier on in the season. Liège-Bastogne-Liège, of course, 257 kilometres. Today he rides 266. There should have been no doubt whatsoever that you let this rider go into a lead group, then he can solo at the end of almost 260k. He's done it before. He did it earlier on in the season. He won that on the 24th of April. He's just won a Grand Tour. You don't let a Grand Tour winner go up the road into a little group and then never bring him back. Jai Hindley's in that group as well. It shows the strength of that group on the road.
That was a very strong group that went away there with around 4 laps to go in the race. But it was Remco Evenepoel that infiltrated that split, and he was able to attack away from those riders to gain this advantage on his own. Initially with Lutsenko, now on his own for the final lap and a half of this race. You can see Evenepoel, it looks like he is holding back just a little bit now because the gaps have stabilised. He's saving some energy for these last two climbs.
2 minutes 52 seconds is now the advantage on the group containing the likes of Wout van Aert, Julien Alaphilippe, Benoit Cosnefroy, all the race favourites that we were considering as we went through this commentary today. 10 kilometres of racing to go. Solo leader from Belgium, Remco Evenepoel, with the red shoes and the red helmet of a Vuelta winner, as he time trials his way now to Mount Ousley for the very last time of asking. Alexei Lutsenko, the shadows are now getting longer as the light fades here in Wollongong. Alexei Lutsenko looking round, he's hanging on for dear life here now, isn't he?
Well, checking over his shoulder to see what advantage he has over the chasers, but he's doing a good job here as a second rider on the road. Obviously, he couldn't match the pace of Remco Evenepoel, but settled into his rhythm, and these four riders now behind him starting to miss a few turns, starting to look at each other a little bit.
Behind them, there's a big group of riders.
That's what Lutsenko will be counting on, just continuing to turn those pedals over and just hope there's some hesitation behind him. Silver medal will be another great result for Kazakhstan, as Remco Evenepoel, he is out in the front. He's got a handy lead. He's very much in control here.
Simon, at this point in the race, what does he do? Watch the power data in front of him or just ride to feel? How does he deal with these last two climbs?
At this point, he just has to give it everything he's got left in the tank to get over these two climbs. Once he passes over the steep ramps of Mount Pleasant, he'll be very confident he's going to be able to stay away. He cannot afford to blow up. He cannot afford to cramp on these two climbs. Otherwise, this lead of a minute that he has over Lutsenko will disappear very quickly.
The light fades, the sun is in the eyes now of the chasers as they make their way up this climb. Mauro Schmidt on the back in the colours of Switzerland. In front of him, the Italian Lorenzo Rota, Pascaline Korn and Matthias Jensen. The Danish rider on the right-hand side. A little bit of instruction from the team director with 9 kilometres to go.
Still very possible that these riders are caught by the main peloton. Lutsenko in all sorts of trouble as well. Wide open for the silver and bronze medal here at the Wollongong World Championship.
The face of Alexei Lutsenko, a face of pain. This rider with true grit tries to get himself to the top of Mount Ousley. He's almost there. Evenepoel made him, as Simon said, look second rate on the climb before, but since then he's kind of collected himself to try and give himself something out of these World Championships.
Alexei Lutsenko had done a great job on the flatter sections of this course, settling into his own rhythm. On the climbs, he's struggling. Now we have Remco Evenepoel on the final climb of the day, the final ascent of Mount Pleasant.
Doesn't he look powerful? Doesn't he look in control?
He looks like he's just started this race. Remco Evenepoel through the theatre of sound on the top of the climb of Mount Pleasant. He's going to crest the top of this and put himself into time trial mode and head back down to Wollongong. The Australian fans urging on this incredible athlete as he makes his way towards a world title. Remco Evenepoel has done everything right today. The focus, the poise, the way that he gets into the right breakaway. Lutsenko now has got over one climb. Can he get over the other?
I think Lutsenko will be expecting to be caught by the group behind, because he did back off the pedals a little bit, I sense, just to give himself a little bit of recovery to try and get over this climb, at least with this group.
Now, will we see an attack in this group? There's 4 riders there, and at this point in time, they are racing for a bronze position on the road. They only have Lutsenko a few seconds in front of them. If they can catch him, then they're racing for silver. But out front, on his own, Remco Evenepoel still powering up this climb and drawing on the energy of the crowd. He is looking so good.
He's just soaking this in. I'm sure right now he is just feeling the motivation of a huge crowd on Mount Pleasant. The shoulders are rocking a little bit side to side. The momentum is good. The poise is good. The cadence is good. This rider is set for a world title over the top of this really horrible little section of the climb. Lutsenko is still holding on. What a job he's doing to try and bring home the silver medal. He really does deserve it. He's made the right moves. He just couldn't match the Belgian wonder kids.
Well, when he gets over the top, he'll be wanting to get over the top before these riders, and then he will try to time trial his way to the finish, but he has got super tired legs.
The rest of these riders just trying to put themselves in with a chance of taking at least a medal. Roman Bardet is there, Ben Tullett is there, Jai Hindley is there still for Australia, giving Australia an opportunity to at least get on the podium this time. The plan of Michael Matthews hasn't paid off. He is still in the back group.
Lutsenko doing a fantastic job. You can see the pain, but he's still applying pressure through those pedals.
Lutsenko there giving it everything he's got. You can see him grabbing his legs. He's on the verge of cramping. He knows he only has a few hundred meters to go of this climb, because this group of 4 chasers, they have him in these sights, but they are also not making much progress. This is where the power is. This is the 3rd group on, the 4th group on the road. You
can see just how much this course has taken out of the riders. It has caused them to be steady and slow even on some of these climbs, because it is so tough. Remco Evenepoel over the top of Mount Pleasant, 6.7 kilometers to go, leans it into the next turn on beautiful, wide, sunny roads. Lutsenko, can he get himself to the top of this climb? He's almost there now. The Kazakh rider who has won a world title as an under-23 before. Now we start to see the accelerations from behind as we see Inkhorn now is dropped. Rota goes forward with Schmitz and with Jensen.
It's Inkhorn that can't match the accelerations there of Rota. He goes across the climb in first position in that 3rd group. Can Inkhorn come back?
All the riders then get the chance to just take a breath, get themselves into the aero tuck. They've got to keep pushing on all the way to the finish line in Wollongong. This is the final lap of the World Road Championships. Thank you for joining us today. What a race it's been. Maybe not the race we all anticipated. 266.9 kilometers around the Mount Kira loop, starting earlier today in Helensburgh. 12 laps of this attritional city circuit. Here comes the team director telling Remco Evenepoel, just keep going, this world title is yours, don't make a mistake, ride it safe, you've got enough time. 1 minute 33 is the time of Evenepoel as he heads towards a crowning moment of his career.
Well, Remco Evenepoel looking very good. He built his advantage over this chaser of Alexei Lutsenko by 30 seconds on the climb up Mount Pleasant. He got up there with a lot of energy, and now he's just driving it home, taking no risk through these corners.
Well, Lutsenko's nearly been caught by these riders. They are going to catch him. There's no doubt about that. The race will be on for the silver medal. And will we see a very strong reaction from the peloton to try and chase down these riders in the last 4.9 kilometres? It's a big ask for the peloton.
Can Australia with Jai Hindley put themselves in a position to take at least a podium position? Hindley has been in the right moves. Lutsenko over this little climb. He's only now got about 5 kilometres of racing to go, urging those tired legs forward. He was the only rider who could match Remco Evenepoel. Simon, you can almost feel the pain as he had to just sit down there because there's nothing left in those legs.
Alexei Lutsenko is so exhausted, he can no longer ride out of the saddle. You can see every opportunity he gets, he's sitting back down, he is resting his legs. Remco Evenepoel once again not leaning his bike too far through these corners, taking absolutely no risk. He knows he only has 4.3 kilometres remaining in this race until he wins the world title.
Alexei Lutsenko just hanging on in front of Jensen, Rota and Schmidt. He looks around, he gets a little bit of company. Schmidt is there, goes to the left-hand side. Rota follows Jensen as he goes to the left-hand side of the road. Schmidt is playing a little bit of poker with Lorenzo Rota, the Italian rider. The Italian is freewheeling around behind. So we've got this group of 4 riders fighting it out for silver and bronze. A couple of riders are going to be happy, a couple of riders are going to be disappointed. Only inside now, 4 kilometres of racing to go. The favourites are not going to happen. It's not going to happen from behind. They are not going to catch any of these riders by the looks of things. This is where the medals are, unless the group of Bardet can come back.
The only chance the group of Bardet has to come back is these 4 riders really start to look at each other. I don't anticipate they're going to get another turn out of Alexei Lutsenko. He was off the front for a long time by himself. Now he's going to slot into last position, and I don't expect him to move until the sprint.
No, he's just going to sit there. He's going to try and recover. Evenepoel, of course, has had a troubled couple of years. He had a huge crash in Il Lombardia in Italy a couple of seasons ago. It was a crash that could have ended his career. He's had to go through massive rehabilitation. He says that it made him a different human being since then. He's able to tolerate the workload and the pain now, whereas before he was hardly even able to walk. 2.9 kilometres to go. This rider is getting set. 53 kilometres an hour as he time trials his way back into Wollongong. Simon, just summarise today for me as we watch this incredible Belgian coming in.
We can't summarise today. There's only 2.7 kilometres remaining in the race. But at this point in time, Remco Evenepoel, he is not celebrating. He is not easing up. You can see he's still completely focused on his effort there. Head down, aerodynamic position, powering away. He doesn't know what the time gaps are. He's taking no risks.
A huge day for the Belgian rider into time trial mode all the way down into Wollongong. The 22-year-old Belgian wonder kid is set to win the world title. He's just got to keep this on, keep the tempo. He's been told by the team director what the situation is, but these riders behind continue to pile on the pressure, but it's still a massive advantage. Here we get the counter-attacks coming from the group behind. They are desperately seeking to try and take the silver and bronze medal, but it may well have left it way, way too late. There is Wout van Aert.
It's Alberto Bettiol there attacking that group from behind. He has Wout van Aert on his wheel, but they are too far back. 2.5 minutes off the front of the race. And Remco Evenepoel is inside 2 kilometres to go.
Well, he could start easing off and start celebrating Remco Evenepoel. What a fantastic ride. He shakes his legs. He won't need to sprint, that's for sure, but he will enjoy this victory in Wollongong. Such an enthusiastic crowd bringing him home for the rainbow stripes. What a magnificent ride from this young 22-year-old Remco Evenepoel.
This is a monumental day for this rider. The emotion, I'm sure, is going to show. After last year, where he had so much trouble after the World Championships, this year it's going to be a totally different story. 1,400 metres to go, Simon, he's almost there.
He is so close to being there now. One last little rise that will take him up to around 1 kilometre to go. A short descent and then a slight uphill rise once again towards the finish line. At that point, he can start to enjoy this. He can celebrate.
He heads now to the 1 kilometre to go point. Under the red kite for Remco Evenepoel. What a day it has been on the roads around Wollongong in New South Wales. Under the red kite, he's almost there. It has been a triumphant day for Remco Evenepoel. There's no doubt who the winner of this World Championship is going to be. As he heads in now, he starts to celebrate. He shakes his head. He realises that he's going to swap the colours of Belgium for the rainbow bands of a world champion. And next year, he is going to wear the rainbow bands in every single race that he rides. This rider has demolished the field. He rides 25 kilometres solo in this World Championship. 300 metres to go. 4 years since he won the junior world title. This season, he wins a monument. He wins a Grand Tour. And now he adds the rainbow bands as the world champion. 10 years after Philippe Gilbert. Look at the ecstasy on the face of Remco Evenepoel. The Belgian wonder kid is a world champion, a monument, a Grand Tour, and now the rainbow bands.
But what a celebration as he crossed the finish line. The emotion started to flow through there. He pumps his fist, he shakes his head, he cannot believe what he's just achieved.
Well
Absolutely incredible, Rochelle.
Yeah, well deserved, Anthony, I would say. He put himself in the right position. He had the legs, he had the form coming out of the World Cup, and he believed in himself, and Belgium will celebrate hard tonight. There is tears from the Belgian president. He is right across from us in the VIP tent. Tom van Dam cannot believe it.
Remco Evenepoel brings it home for Belgium. What an absolutely stunning performance. We're ready now to find out who's going to take the silver, who's going to take the bronze. Rota, Jensen, Schmidt and Lutsenko. Lutsenko has not done any work since he was caught. This is such a cagey sprint, Simon.
Oh, this is a really challenging position for these four riders. None of them want to ride, none of them want to set the pace, and if there's a fast chasing group behind, they're going to be caught very quickly. Lutsenko looking over his shoulder, all of them looking over their shoulder. Where is the next group on the road?
This is so cagey, so measured. Mauro Schmidt looking around.
Oh, here comes the move from the Dutch, just like yesterday, but for the silver medal this time. Can they respond?
Pascal Lincoln hits them hard as he goes clear to try and take the title, but he hasn't done what Annemiek van Vleuten did. He freewheels. Maybe a big mistake there. He lets all the other riders back in. We're getting set then. Pascal Lincoln, Mauro Schmidt, Lorenzo Rota coming round the corner into position. One more rider who hits them hard.
It's Jan Tratnik though, he's jumped away.
Wow, Tratnik hits them hard for Slovenia. Tratnik looks around. Where did he come from? Jan Tratnik and Alexei Lutsenko. It's Tratnik going for the silver medal for Slovenia. Where did Jan Tratnik appear from? He goes clear now. Tratnik being chased down by Christophe Laporte. Is it going to be Laporte? Is it going to be Wout van Aert? On the line it is Michael Matthews. Laporte and Matthews. Laporte takes the silver. Matthews takes the bronze for Australia. Where did they come from?
Well, it looks very possible for that group to come back. They were a minute behind with 4 kilometres to go, but the hesitation from that group ahead, well, a great result. The French team did so much work. They deserve a silver medal, and Michael Matthews and his Australian team, they were also in all the moves. So a great result for some well-deserved riders today.
Where did Michael Matthews come from? Where did Christophe Laporte come from?
We didn't see those riders all day long. There was a moment of hesitation, too much hesitation there by that chase group, looking at each other inside the final kilometre of the race. Quickly caught by what's left of the peloton.
Belgium take the gold, France take the silver, Australia take the bronze. Wout van Aert almost got on the podium as well. The top 10 riders include Matej Trentin, Alexander Kristoff, Peter Sagan finishes in 7th place, Raymond Bettiol, Ethan Hayter. What an incredible finish. Michael Matthews gives Australia a bronze medal with a surge of a sprint for the line. But meanwhile, Remco Evenepoel celebrating an incredible day. All celebration. Julian Alaphilippe, his teammate in Quick-Step Alpha Vinyl. Alaphilippe hands over the rainbow bands to a teammate in his same pro squad. Wout van Aert, Remco Evenepoel, he celebrates and congratulates him.
Well, in the end, they made a good decision, didn't they? Because Wout van Aert, not quite the legs in that sprint. You never know, but Evenepoel has proven to be the strongest man. A well-deserved world championship for the Belgian athlete.
Look at the celebration, look at the moment as he brings home the world title for Belgium.
At only 22 years of age, he already gets to experience putting on that rainbow jersey in the men's elite road race.
He silences the critics. He wins this race. Last year, he had a terrible time after the World Championships. Now he soaks in the glory and the emotion of a victory here in Wollongong. He put everybody way behind. He wins this title by 2 minutes and 21 seconds ahead of Christophe Laporte of France and Michael Matthews of Australia. Look at the names in the top 10. Van Aert, Trentin, Christophe, Sagan, Bettiol, Hayter and Jensen. They caught them just on the line. Simon, they closed a massive gap. We didn't even see them.
No, we did not even see them until the final 200 metres of the race. But that chase group that was chasing behind Remco Evenepoel, they stopped to look at each other for too long and they were quickly swept up by the peloton. Traknik there getting caught with 50 metres to go in the race. Christophe Laporte leading the bunch home to take the silver medal. Michael Matthews pulling one out of the bag for Australia, taking the bronze.
Matthews, the third time he's finished on the podium of the World Championships. Christophe Laporte this season, look at that, he beats his teammate Wout van Aert on the road on the Jumbo-Visma team. But Laporte has had a wonderful season as well, taking the silver medal and turning things around for France in the last gasp of the race.
Well, when your teammates do such a fabulous job, it does really lift your motivation to finish it off and to find that little bit extra energy to ensure that all the hard work that has been put in, that there's a reward at the end of it. And somehow it just gives you that extra little bit of power coming into the finish.
Now summarise the top 10 for you. Remco Evenepoel, Christophe Laporte in second place. Michael Matthews takes the bronze medal for Australia. Following them is Wout van Aert, Matteo Trentin, Alexander Christophe, Sagan. You can never discount him. He finishes in the top 10 again in these World Championships. Pete Sagan is such an incredible bike rider. Now 6 top 10s and 3 wins in the World Championships. Alberto Bettiol, Ethan Hayter, Matthias Jensen make up the top 10 at the end of a thrilling race lasting 6 hours and 16 minutes when Evenepoel crossed the line.
Well, there was such a big group of riders there sprinting home for that